competitive, man.
Right.
It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, you're not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5,
Right.
and you still competing. It don't make sense.
First of all, that vote is fake as That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings.
Cowboy Carter. Beyonce.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones.
There are horrible things that happen every day, whether it be in the industry or not.
50 isn't just smoke. 50 Cent and Eminem are finally teaming up, and they're going directly after Jay-Z and Beyoncé. They're pointing out some serious accusations of dodgy agreements, stolen credit, award show rating, and the purported trail of damaged lives. Eminem has been warning fans for years about how dark and corrupt the music industry can get, and recently he has begun putting cryptic words into the songs. It's beginning to look like a 5-alarm fire 50, saying Jay-Z is still out there trying to hinder his business movements. Although there are indications in the tunes about powerful gatekeepers pulling strings behind the scenes, Beyonce is still facing severe accusations, including allegedly blackballing and taking songwriting credits. Other ladies in the game, such as Aaliyah, Maya, Mary J. Blige, and Carrie Hilson, keep appearing. You thought that was crazy, but then all of a sudden they weren't. And BA's close relationship with Diddy is making you wonder again whether Jay-Z has rejected Jane Doe's complaint.
You're not competing for those things anymore. You start looking and you're going, so what was the problem? You can't exactly remember what the problem was. That's what went through with Joe.
Jay-Z has rejected Jane Doe's complaint, but the claimed victim is now implying she was under duress to remain silent. When some suspicious individuals showed up at her house shortly after, it was quite frightening. As a result, the question is now more pressing than ever. Are Jay-Z and Beyoncé truly the power couple they portray themselves as, or are they simply experts at tidying up every problem that occurs behind the scenes? For years, Jay and Bey were considered untouchable music royalty. If you said anything negative about them, you would immediately face backlash. Now, 50 Cent and Eminem are exposing a system that has destroyed artists' careers and possibly even lives.
Eminem was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like what is the issue? You start looking at that's not mine. That's theirs. They harbor it, right? But when you look at M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like with M, Dre, and myself, like I'm a shady aftermath. You see what I'm saying? Like there's so much Junior Records.
Right.
They forget that I'm M and Dre's artist.
A sour critic, but suddenly that well-maintained persona is crumbling and taking the lead without worrying about 50 Cent and Eminem revealing the true identity of the so-called industry monarch and queen. Interview, 2.56 out of 3.40. Let's start with 50 Cent, who isn't holding back when he calls Jay-Z insecure, envious, and just petty. This time, 50 has receipts from 2023 that show Jay attempted to ban him. From making it to the Super Bowl stage by using his anti connections to pull strings, but Jay's strategy completely failed since Eminem wouldn't have it and warned the NFL.
Saying I knew what old boy was doing, right, with the Super Bowl, because he was doing like.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was doing some wild because he was saying that to Eminem that the NFL had the issue with me. And I'm like, well, what's the issue? I don't have an issue when I'm becoming a partner in the actual team, but they got an issue with my performance. Right? Makes no sense. You know what I mean?
I was going to get to that later, but since we're here now. And when he says old boy for the audience that don't, talking about Jay-Z, this was discussed before. Jay-Z told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl they had a couple years ago. Why do you think that is?
Well, I just
threatened.
Yeah,
possibly.
Not even threat. You know, I think it's just when you take the competition from like our culture is competitive, man. It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It don't make sense. Like, what are we competing for? What's the goal? Like this even like a lot of the even a lot of the competitive stuff, or what we would call it beef, right? It changed. That terminology changed from when it's Biggie and Tupac, because we start saying the things that people would say that cause beef in the environment. When before that they called it battling in our culture. Right. Because that's what it is until it turns into some street shit. So when
no 50, no Slim Shady That Move Alone revealed the extent to which Jay was prepared to go in order to keep 50 out of the spotlight. Fast forward to 50's most recent interview with Cameron on Talk with Flea, and he's letting Jay out once more like,
"Sir, all the doors that you opened, showed us that we can be rock stars. Seeing you on the Rolling Stone. Obviously, there's Run DMC with the Leathers and the Aerosmith. But when you came out west, you took it to a whole new level. Some of you don't belong in the category." Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous.
The strangest aspect, according to 50, is that Jay is still out there playing dirty behind the scenes in both the boardroom and the music industry, has apparently tried to sabotage his transactions out of spite, even though he has already demonstrated everything he needs to, and it continues. Eminem and 50 are now collaborating to reveal what they perceive to be significant Grammy rigging, accusing Jay of using his marriage to Beyonce as a means of cheating to win prizes. However, Eminem has been claiming for years
a few Grammys, but you feel like you had to sell your soul to get them. And you didn't know if you wanted it for the recognition or the trophies, but then what's the difference? And that Grammys pretty much suck the blood of artists and nominate them, have them come to the shows. And
which they do. They do it every year, yeah. And I'm just tired of seeing it. And for whatever reason, it's like they're always pitching this hint that you might win Album of the Year, which used to be a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal now.
Accusing Jay of using his marriage to Beyonce as a means of cheating to win prizes. However, Eminem has been claiming for years that the Grammys are a pay-to-win system, and not everyone thought it was real when Beyonce won Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter. Since Jay took the stage at the previous year's Grammys and criticized the recording industry for ignoring his wife, many began speculating that he was pulling strings once more. Interview 7/27-82. Fans didn't buy Jay's statement, though, since it seemed phony. He was holding the trophy and criticizing the people who awarded it to him as if the Grammys were prejudiced. The entire
50 did not win Best New Artist at the Grammys.
There was nothing bigger than 50.
Nothing bigger, and nobody since maybe like Snoop came out the gate like that. My first album didn't do it. I never saw someone's first album and the wave happen like he had. And then he doesn't get it. And then I get up there another year, and what was it, the Eminem show? And it was like, whatever. I'm fine if I lose to Kanye or someone that I'm like, okay, I respect that. I know who that is, and Kanye has a huge following and he's made a massive impact on music. Fine, I'm good with that. But don't get us all here to use your selling point for your show and stiff everybody every single time. And I said, after that point in time, I was like, don't ever ask me to here again. Please do not ask me. My answer is no for 100 million years. Never again will I
music. But consider, joining the board and maybe you have a vote in it.
First of all, that vote is fake. That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings. This got critical acclaim, but it sold 2 records. Like, it ain't about always what you sell. I get that. Vanilla Ice, I understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there comes a point where when an overwhelming something comes along that has this wave and impact on music, and you give it to
I've never seen someone's debut album and the wave occurred as if he had.
Lada Dottie. It's only Lottie Dottie.
It was random, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, yo, I love him. That's my guy.
The situation felt strange, and it only made the rumors more loud.
Kind of bitch. She be...
This performance caused a lot of controversy.
On a whole nother level, because I'm like,
What did you do?
The 16, but he got 16, 17 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce. Right? And you go prior to that, 1.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that came in association, like you see the kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing.
Right.
They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show. It meant that much to the culture that they just gave them the things they would. Later, to me, I didn't care about.
Why even come? Why not just leave and show that you don't need their approval instead of pleading for it on stage? There was nothing more significant than nothing when it came to the Carters' ascent through talent or by coercion and extortion. The same 50 did not win the Grammy's Best 2 New Performers. Larger and no one, yes, no one since perhaps Snoop debuted like that, and my first album didn't succeed. I've never seen someone's debut album.
look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, listen, if you look at his career,
Wow. This guy. Wow. You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
he had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he didn't show up.
No, he has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he's been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
He was
At
one.
the same
After
time.
that, he got, he's like drinking. His pictures with him. It's the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got.
Oh, wow. So that's the deal.
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
And the wave occurred as if he had. And then he does not understand. And then I go up there another year. And what was it? The Eminem show. And it was like, whatever. I don't care whether I lose to Kenny or someone else. Respect that I am aware of who that is. And Kenny has a sizable fan base and has had a significant influence on music. I'm okay.
At DraftKings. And right now, all new
own throne.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Hey, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career.
Okay with that, but don't utilize us all to promote your product. I told them, point for your show and stiff everyone every single time. I then said, don't ever ask me to hear again, please don't ask me. I said, no for 100 million years. I will never again visit them, claiming for years that the Grammys are more about industry politics than true talent. And Eminem is one of the most outspoken people voicing this claim. Don't get it misunderstood.
The first time I ever saw Jay-Z or even heard him spit a rhyme was at an MC battle, street battle in New York. But he didn't show up as Jay-Z. He didn't show up as the hottest rapper on the street. He showed up as the that was with Big L.
Rest
For
in
those
peace.
of you,
Rest in peace, Big L.
rest in peace, Big L.
One of the
That was the
dopest.
sensei.
One of the dopest. Yes.
Big L was who put Jay-Z on.
He's not simply upset about losing. Eminem stated that if another artist truly released a better record, he would be okay with it. He even swore to never appear again, and he meant it. The way the Grammys use him irritates him because they promote him and make it seem like he has a genuine chance to win in all of the advertisements, only to increase views. Then when it comes time for the program, He is eliminated as if he never entered the competition. When someone asked him if he would ever return if he joined the voting committee, and didn't bat an eye, explaining that it wouldn't make a difference because, in his words, the entire process is rigged in those votes. They don't signify anything at all, but 50 Cent is supporting him wholeheartedly and criticizing him even more. He didn't just accuse the Grammys of being rigged. He stated outright that Jay-Z's victories weren't due to his music, but think about joining a board and perhaps you'd have a vote in it. But first of all, that vote is a phony one. It isn't a real one, and they give it to anybody they want to give it to, even their beloveds. Oh, this received praise from critics, but it sold too. Tunes like it ain't about what you sell. And I get that Vanilla Ice, which I know you understand, but there comes a time when something overpowering happens that has an impact on music and you give it to Lada Day, who has many fathers, but it's just die. The recording industry understands precisely what it's doing as long as Jay and Bass are in front of the cameras, according to 50 J, who says his marriage to Beyonce has allowed him to win those honors. The show goes viral and customer flash ratings skyrocket. So what's the point of continuously nominating and rewarding them to ensure that the power couple appears? However, 50 wasn't done yet. He went all out during his last appearance on the Flavor podcast, asserting that Jay-Z's entire enterprise and all of those Grammy awards aren't actually.
And the game is bullshit. If you want to rap or sing or whatever, don't become a part of the game. You know what? Listen to a song I called The Industry. And that pretty much explains, you know what I'm saying, what it's about. The industry. Man, it's not the same. The industry, it's not a f***ing game. The industry, real is dying to get in the industry just to find they don't fit in. The industry ain't what it used to be. The industry's trying to control the way you MC. They want you to dress like this and talk like that, but I'm going just like this.
Flavor podcast, asserting that Jay-Z's entire enterprise and all of those Grammy awards aren't actually about talent, but rather about poo. He even went so far as to refer to Jay and Beyonce's relationship as a contract, implying that they might be sticking it out for the publicity and power it brings. He is married to...
I was like, we got to sign DMX, and they laughed at me. I remember when I left the office, Tina Davis said, she knew what I wanted to sign DMX. She said, DMX don't sell, your ass is fired. Jay and Dame did not believe in DMX. Jay would be like, you think he's better than me? And I'd be like, he's nice just like you. I said, if you look in the hood, there's less of like you and more like him. Yeah, but he don't want to live that. He's depressing, Gotti. And I said, I don't give a f. So Jay used to watch me grind with X, and he was off with the Hitman. And then something strange happened when I made Get At Me Dog. If you remember at the beginning of the video, it's the heartbeats. DMX, live at the tumble. I don't even remember the tumble. Funk Master was doing, and then I put that sound bite. Let's take it back to the streets, mother. The video's flashing, f***ing up your eyes. It caused change. And now, there's no more shiny suits. We back to the hood, and X is the leader of this revolution. I used to put on the wall a triangle with 5. And it was like, they used to clown me. And they used to be like, who's gonna buy his records, Gotti? Chihuahuas, he's barking. No one wants to hear that bullshit. And I'd be like, yeah. It's 05. It was no more writing on the walls. It was, y'all can get behind me. I used to tell Leo in the midst of the whole staff, and I would tell him, yo, shut the f up, yo. I said, you work better when you shut up and get behind me. Now this is what we doing. And he would shut up.
Just 50 people claim that Jay uses dishonest tactics to maintain his popularity. For years, insiders have speculated that Jay and Beyonce intentionally prevented other musicians from achieving success so that they would remain the only ones to succeed. And then there is the dark side. Before he died of pneumonia, Uncle Ron, Beyonce's former bodyguard, went public and claimed to have receipts demonstrating that Jay and Bey crushed up-and-coming artists, damaged lives, and destroyed careers in order to gain their own throne. He claimed to have known too much, and given the circumstances surrounding his passing, let's just say that people are discussing it. How could we not bring up Jaguar, who once provided Jay-Z with background vocals but is now one of his harshest detractors? Been revealing everything, bring up Jaguar, who once provided Jay-Z.
And can destroy another man's life. It's ultimately in your own decisions. You know, I had a lot of issues. Like I said, legal issues at the time, and you know, my mind wasn't where I'm at now today. Like, I used to have questions like why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop right on top of me. He wouldn't let me breathe or right before me. Like, I was always close. And I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on top of me. And it was like, damn, like to have in-house competition at that magnitude was crazy. Jay already the boss, but I always thought that, like, let me breathe.
Jay-Z with background vocals, but is now one of his harshest detractors. Been revealing everything, saying that others close to Jay, such as the legendary Big L of Harlem, either mysteriously died or had their careers disappear just when Jay's was taking off. Let's take a moment to discuss Big L. One of Harlem's most promising artists in the early 1990s, Jay-Z was a true lyrical beast known for his crazy freestyles. His debut created ripples, and he signed a record deal with Columbia Records. Big L wasn't going to give up after Columbia dumped him. Instead, he launched his own label and began making waves. At that point, Dame Dash, co-founder of Rock Allah, noticed that Big L was finally getting his chance, but just as his career was ready to take off.
Where you been, A. Marie?
I've been out in the universe somewhere.
No, I've been. Talk about your career. Everybody always says A. Marie should have been a superstar because she's pretty, she could dance, she could sing. What happened?
It's,
what do you
know
think
what it is? It's timing. Like everything is timing. Like I'm a big believer in.
Big L was shot dead in a drive-by shooting in Harlem on February 15, 1999, and the case is still unresolved, unjustified, and unanswered. However, if you ask Jaguar correctly, she isn't biting. The amount of suspicion we're dealing with is so high that she believes Jay-Z may have been involved. Let's move on to another titan, DMX, who is one of the few rappers other than 50 Cent who had the courage to face. When Jay-Z became president of Def Jam in 2004, things became chaotic. DMX had been carrying Def Jam on his back with 5 consecutive #1 albums from 1998 to 2003. But when it came time to, he released Year of the Dog, his 6th album. And
it's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones. And you know what I mean? You don't feel like you have a choice. I really didn't feel like I had a choice. It was do this or this.
In 1717. The drama didn't end there, as in 2005, DMX said that Jay-Z had deliberately withheld it in order to give Jay the opportunity to make his own return. Track the Industry, in which he revealed the dubious activities occurring behind closed doors. The most outrageous thing he mentioned is that the game
so guarded within your career.
This is what I did. I said, no, I'm good, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, so sometimes that doesn't translate as far as what you are allowed to have, what you have access to. You will be blackballed. You will be talked about. You will be on. You will be rumored about. But you have to stand strong on what you don't care for. It's not that serious to me, if I have to sell my soul. I understand that I might have sacrificed something in the physical world, but the spiritual world is not worth it. You're okay. You don't need to do anything. What you need to do is protect every part of your life, your spirit especially, because everything else is connected to that. There are some people, not everyone, that have huge egos, and awful mindsets towards men, towards women, towards people. And it's very difficult to be around. It's just very difficult. And the way they define success is not your idea of success.
game is still being played today. In the end, even industry insider Irv Gotti stated that Jay was envious of X, even going so far as to say that Jay and his mentor Lord Cohen used to make fun of DMX behind the scenes, assuming he would never become popular. But DMX showed them how wrong they were, and Jay's name appears frequently alongside Beanie Siegel. Jay would publish his own projects around the same time as Beanie, who who described how it felt like someone was always pulling threads to keep him down. Beanies were essentially taking over the spotlight in order to keep their numbers down, almost as if they could only go so far and no higher. Siegel acknowledged his errors, including his legal issues, but he made it quite evident that Jay-Z's dubious actions weren't an accident. Let's not pretend that Beyonce's innocent in all of this while certain fans continue to promote the notion that B.J. knew exactly what he was doing and that every move was planned. That she is only Jay's puppet. That story doesn't make sense. She couldn't have supported him for so long without being involved in it. Here's just a taste of the tea. If anything, they've been managing the game together and are said to have eliminated anyone they perceive as a threat. Interview 2055 and 2148. Jay allegedly grabbed producer Rich Harrison away from emerging singer Beyonce when she left Destiny's Child and began to get close to him. Singer Amiri, who was gaining popularity at the time and was supposedly Beyonce's rival, had the same trademark vibe as Emery's hit song One Thing. After Harrison departed ship, Beyonce was accused by some fans of copying the formula from Crazy in Love. Carrie Hilson subsequently had a public altercation with. According to reports, Beyonce's producers deceived her into recording a diss track directed at Baya, putting her in a position to get. Carrie initially denied being dragged and canceled, but she was reprimanded after she refused to carry a magazine with Jay-Z and Beyoncé on the cover. She was asked whether she wanted to handle the magazine, and when she declined, the Beehive went crazy. Carrie received harsh criticism from admirers. Some of them even accosted her in the street. Rumors began to circulate behind the scenes that Beyonce planned the entire incident, according to some reports. Beyonce played the innocent victim, and Carrie sort of verified it years later. Insiders in Cars Camp set her up to record that song. She acknowledged in a 2020 interview that she was coerced into releasing the song, and that the threats she experienced afterwards were genuine. They weren't merely repercussions. It was actually career sabotage, and we can't forget about Kellis, who accused Beyonce of stealing when B.A. sampled her classic song. Milkshake without acknowledging her in any way. Even more bizarrely, Kellis was unaware of it until the internet informed her that she had discovered it through social media, just like everyone else. Wrote, I became aware of this in the same manner that everyone else did, but nothing is ever done because it seems that some of the people in this industry lack integrity and soul. They have deceived everyone. Later, Kellis turned to Instagram to explain everything, stating that this was about respect and not simply music. She made the point that as, there aren't many black female artists in the game, and with all of their shared friends and personal connections, a quick phone call could have resolved the issue. It's not that difficult to get in touch with me. It's just common courtesy, Kelly stated, rather than saying sorry or taking responsibility. Beyonce discreetly took down the sample without saying anything, making no promises, or taking responsibility. Then there's Maya, another name you don't hear enough. However, rumors claim that she was blackballed for all the wrong reasons after supposedly declining Jay-Z's advances. She has stated in interviews that, according to Mia, the issue for her was that influential people in the industry frequently misused their position, putting young, aspirational artists in risky circumstances. She just said no one left, but there was a cost to that. She implied that turning away some people caused her reputation to suffer and her career being neglected. Therefore, after witnessing the sheer number of musicians who have voiced their opinions, 50 Cent, Eminem, Kelly, Maya Jaguar Wright, DMX, Beanie Siegel, and, more to the point, are Jay-Z and Beyonce only safeguarding their business, or are they actually undermining the competitors in private? Since the list isn't even comprehensive, please provide the name of anyone you believe we overlooked in the comments section below. What do you think of all these reports that the Carters are? If you're untouchable or simply adept at tidying up the mess, please like, subscribe, and share this video if you'd like more. Tales that reveal the music's true nature. Stector.